Hi everybody, we got Valentine's Day coming up and I thought that today we could make a cake. Well, hi everybody, this is Elizabeth with Live Simple, Live Free, and we're going to make a nice little cake today, and I'm going to make it kind of a little bit different for Valentine's Day. So what's interesting here is that I have all of my cake ingredients for right now just right here in this nice bowl. And what I think is cool about this is that I have everything I need in here to bake a lovely cake, except for water. And I will be honest, if you wanted to add a little bit of powdered sugar on top, I could put powdered sugar in here too, couldn't I? So just, you could add in a little bit of powdered sugar. I have things in individual bags because I want to do the technique properly in making the cake. But especially if I put in just a little bit of powdered sugar, which I just thought of, I really have everything I need in here to make a cake. And the powdered sugar is just extra anyway. But that's really nice to know. And so it's nice to know as a gift I could give somebody. And this happens to have a blue top, but if I wanted to make it a Valentine thing, I could put the red top on top here. And not only could I give this to somebody, but the bowl itself, this beautiful Pyrex bowl, it's from Anchor Hawking. It becomes its own gift. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea. Things could go into a jar. Now these, I probably want to get something a little bit bigger. This happens to be what I have right now, maybe a wider mouth. If I was going to put this whole cake into, I might need 2 jars, but I still could have these jars stored with all the ingredients ready to go to be able to come up with a cake. And so not only is this going to be just really nice to make, and it could be a gift, but it's also just nice to know that I could have all the ingredients that I need in just storage to make a cake if we should lose electricity or if things should get kind of bad. This would be kind of a nice treat, and every single bit of it is dry, and so that's really wonderful. You could use that anytime. So let's go ahead and make this. I'm going to go ahead and use this actual dish full of ingredients, tell you what they are, and we're going to actually make that cake today. You know, we could just have a cake mix stored at our house. You'd have to come up with a way to really make it last really well. And it would probably only need some sort of fat and milk or water to go with it, and you can make up a cake. Thing of it is that there are so many ingredients in those cakes that maybe are hard to pronounce, that maybe somebody doesn't want to have as far as a healthy lifestyle. Look here, we're just going to show you here. This is a really basic cake mix, and there is so much in here. And I imagine that they've constructed it so that you can actually just throw the thing into a bowl, throw in some, put in some butter, oil, and some water or milk, and whip it up, and it makes a cake. But I don't know, it'd be nice to know that we're just having pure, clean ingredients in our cake. And that's why I didn't just jumble this all together. I went ahead and put it in little individual packets, because I'm going to be sure and make this cake with the proper scratch cake technique to make it come out as good as possible. So I like the idea of something just a little healthier for my family. Now I have all of my ingredients already pre-measured, so I can show you how it all could just fit nicely in that bowl. But let me show you what I put in there. We love the Thrivalist freeze-dried food. It is such a good quality, very nutritious, and these most of these have like at least a 25-year shelf life. In fact, most things after you open them have a year shelf life without refrigeration. So this is my favorite gluten-free flour that I have ever found. It's from Thrivalist. It's a wonderful gluten-free flour. I can't have gluten. Here are the incredible eggs. They make up just beautiful regular eggs, and we use them a lot. And Bill was Army for 24 years, and these are definitely not your basic Army dried eggs, dehydrated eggs. These are very, very good. I'm going to be putting in some strawberries I'm picking the strawberries because it's the Valentine's Day cake, but I could have used all sorts of other freeze-dried fruit that we have from Thrive Life. Blueberries and raspberries and blackberries and all sorts of apple. There's lots of yummy stuff. Peaches. I'm going to be using the instant milk, which is really very, very nicely flavored milk. But see, all of these are very dry ingredients. And then this is really cool. This is a Thrive Life butter powder. Once again, a dry ingredient. But if you just put a little bit of water with it, I'll give you the proportions, turns into butter. And it's actually really good butter. So this is pretty cool. And it's just a way that you can put together something that can, like I said, be all dry and be ready to go whenever you need it. So I love this stuff. Now with the butter, there is an optimal shelf life of 5 years. And that doesn't surprise me because it's a fat. And so most of them are 25, but this is 5. But in this little pantry size can, it gets used up without too much trouble at all. After it's opened, and then I can know that if I've got it in my stores, I just need to be aware that the best optimal timing would be about 5 years before I would use it. But what a treat to have some butter on hand. If you don't have everything going very well, have some butter on hand for at least 5 years. It's pretty cool. There's a couple of things that I don't get from Thrive Life, but I still was able to get in a dried form. Your basic baking powder, of course. And this is monk fruit. I'm trying to really stay away from basic sugar. And this just happens to be one of the kinds of monk fruit that we get. And it goes just, cup for cup kind of a thing. And it's a little more expensive than sugar, but I really like it. It doesn't have any funny flavor. And it doesn't, affect your insulin or anything like that. It's just absolutely no calories. Of sugar. So this one actually has some erythritol and then some and then monk fruit, but it very good source of just some good little bit of sweetening. And then this is Cook's Pure Powder Vanilla, and we found this online at Amazon, and it's just a very lovely vanilla made out of real vanilla. There's a little bit of dextrose in there, so I don't use too much, but that's a type of sugar, but it's vanilla and it's good. So those are the ingredients that I have included in our little special kit here. Okay, I have my recipe here. I will be including the entire recipe in the description below, so you can make sure that you've got it there. Okay, oven on at 350, bake, 350 start. That's going to be preheating, and I have a little, good old Pioneer Woman. I'm going to put it in a round baking dish here, and I've already buttered it, but you can use the butter powder, and just reconstitute it a little bit, and you can make it into good swoopy butter. And then I put a little bit of the flour in here, and I'm sure you've seen this before, but you just tap it and tap it and tap it all the way around and get just a light coating of flour on the inside of your baking dish. I love this stuff from Pioneer Woman. I think while my cake's baking, I'm going to take you on a super quick tour of all the pretty floury things I have in this kitchen. Okay, so it's nicely buttered and floured. That'll be over here. So let's start putting our cake, the cake together here. All right, I'm going to open it up here. Our first little packet that we have, which we wrote what's in it very carefully on it, just with a Sharpie. Now, this is, the recipe has 1 cup of sugar and a half a cup of butter. Now, I experimented with this, and this works. This is so cool. I'm going to go ahead and just put my sugar and my butter powder into my mixing bowl here. Easy, easy, easy. Now, if a person was using regular ingredients, then that's all you need to think about here. But because I've got the butter powder, I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of water, because I discovered that for a half a cup of the butter, that about 4 teaspoons of water works. And you use just a half a cup of the butter powder. It's like it trades 1 for 1. So get my measuring cups, my measuring spoons here, and I need 4 teaspoons. And if you know your cooking math, that is 1 tablespoon plus a teaspoon. So, all right. I just got some water here I could use. Okay, there is my tablespoon. And I'm gonna add a teaspoon, which I think is this one. These Pioneer Woman measuring spoons have the best, most thorough combination I have ever seen. Okay, now that doesn't seem like much, but when you get it all mixed together, it's amazing, because what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and cream this sugar and butter together. Now I'm going to be using my hand mixer, the electric hand mixer here. But if there wasn't electricity and we were in, EOW situation, into the world, whatever, I have a hand mixer that is just a rotary, hand mixer, and it would do a good job with this cake. So you don't have to have electricity to make this cake. You just need water and some place to bake it. You would think that with that small amount of water that this wouldn't turn into butter and sugar creaming together, but it actually does. Now if you were making this at home and it looked like it was just still a touch too dry, you just sprinkle a little bit more water until you start getting a consistency that'll cream like regular butter and sugar. I'm actually going to go ahead and probably sprinkle just a little bit more water in here. Just a little. It doesn't take much. Careful not to overdo. This is so cool. It's creaming up just like regular butter and sugar. Look at that. That's a normal texture. Yep. Nice and gloppy, which is wonderful. And look at that. We have the nice crumbly butter sugar texture. That is really cool. Now that we have our sugar and our butter creamed, I'm going to put in my eggs. Now I'm going to take my little packet I have here of the eggs. This is 4 tablespoons, which is equivalent to 2 eggs. 2 tablespoons of powder to make 1 egg, and then you add 3 tablespoons of water. So this, to make these back into regular, like beat up eggs, I have 4 tablespoons of the powder and 6 tablespoons of water ready, and that will make 2 eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and put this into just a little bowl here, so that I can follow the way you're supposed to make this accurately. All right, and now here is 6 tablespoons of water. Okay, that mixes up very easily. Yep, just like beaten eggs. Okay, so I'm supposed to add about 1 egg at a time, so I'm going to pour in about half of it. And then I'll pour in the other half. Now, the comments that were made about this recipe says that you want to make sure that you really get this nice and fluffy. So let's make sure we get this mixture nice and fluffy. So I'm going to put in half of it. There we go. Well, we just had one of those disconcerting things happen when you are a YouTube creator, and I had finished up my batter and it turned out that the camera wasn't on. So I'm going to very carefully explain to you what I did so you know. Okay, I added the other egg, and you want to give that a good beating until it's kind of fluffy. Certainly not turning into like meringue or something, but you want to have it be really airy and fluffy. And then I have put in my last packet to go right into the batter here. It's 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 tablespoons of our milk powder, 1 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla powder. Now this is the recipe. It's actually, this is 1/2 cup of milk here, but this is the basic recipe. Now all I have to do, I put that in my bowl here, and all I have to do is be sure I add the 1/2 cup of water for the milk and 2 teaspoons of water for my vanilla powder. And so it ends up being in here, and of course we'll have the recipe in the description below. It ends up being 1.5 cups of flour, 1 3/8 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 cup of milk, and 1.5 1/2 cup of milk. So I mix this nicely. Oh, I already unplugged. And it just forms a lovely batter. There we go. Oh, that'll all wipe up. Okay, so I got one more thing I'm going to put in just for good fun, and that is some of my freeze-dried fruit here. Now I'm using strawberries. You could, like I said before, there's lots of different fruits you could use. Now I'm going to add about half. I crumbled these up. I didn't powder them, but they're kind of crumbled up a little bit. And I'm going to dump, this is a cup of it. I'm going to dump about 1/2 cup into my cake batter. There we go. Now I have a special purpose for the rest of this, so I don't need to use my mixer on this. I'm just going to take just mix in the strawberries. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so that's all my ingredients that I had in my little lovely bowl here. It's a built-in cake. Okay, this all goes into my buttered and floured baking dish. You can make this in, it's like 9 by 9 that you use. The round one's going to be fine. You could also use a rectangle or a square, but it makes about a 9 by 9. Okay, try to get all that in there. Now I want to give it just a gentle tap. I'm not going to tap it on that metal, it's glass, but just make sure any little bubbles come out. And this is going to go in my 350 degree oven for 30 to 40 minutes, which means I'm going to check it after the half hour. And there we go. And I will go set my timer. So the cake is in the oven, and I just wanted to show you how much I'm just enjoying the colorfulness of the Pioneer Woman things that I've been able to have in the kitchen. Even this drawer is really fun, full of color and flowers, and ooh, and I'm going to be using that little heart-shaped thing on the cake. Yep, even in here it was a gift from somebody. Isn't that cool? And I love how the curtains are just sort of complimentary, and then even my towel is Pioneer Woman. I enjoy it so much.
So let me take just a minute while the cake is baking, and let me read you a comment that I just got from Joy Brown. It says, Floridian here. Bill has at least one video for Meals in a Jar, which sent me on a YouTube bunny trail. Now I have just add water meals that are, listen to this, that are good enough to eat even when we have power. So she's discovered that her survival food is actually good food. She says, now I stock up with more enthusiasm because when hurricane season is over, we have food that we actually like to eat. And she's right on. You know, I don't consider Thrive Life to be survival food. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. That's why they call it Thrive Life. You know, there are a lot of companies that sell survival food, and most of the time they are a meal in a pack that someone else basically put the ingredients in. All you have to do is add water. And yeah, it's very convenient. But many of them are loaded with carbs, loaded with salt, loaded up with all kinds of things. I don't know why, because they're freeze-dried, but I think one of the reasons they're loaded with salt is because the quality of the freeze-dried items they put in there is so bad that they put in a lot of salt to try to make it taste better. And you know, those meals, well, they kind of taste like survival food. I don't want to eat survival food. Now Thrive also has meals like that, but they use very high quality freeze-dried food. Thrive actually makes the best quality freeze-dried food you can make. And they don't have any salt or any of those kinds of things, just enough for flavoring. You know, it's not overly laden with any of that kind of stuff. It's much healthier, and it doesn't taste like survival food. It tastes like real food. But the main thing for me is that Thrive, I don't consider Thrive to be survival food. I consider Thrive to be good, healthy, nutritious, daily use food that just happens to have a 25-year shelf life, which makes it great for your long-term emergency food storage. It's not the same thinking, it's not the same mentality as survival food. And Thrive does have those meals because they're convenient, they're easy to use, they're great, but the Thrive really shines in the fact that they have cans of individual ingredients. So you can get a can of hamburger, you can get a can of carrots, you can get a can of strawberries, all individual ingredients like you're going grocery shopping, so that you can make your own favorite recipes. You're not relying on somebody else's cooking in those meals. And that puts it a step above everybody else, and that makes it good for daily use, not just survival food. Now, I just want to tell you that you can go to the website, the link in the description below. You can go to the website and just place a one-time order, and just try it out, or just place an order whenever you want. But the cheapest way to purchase Thrive Life is to join the monthly delivery service. When you do that, you get 15% off of all prices across the board. You also get free shipping on any order of $99 or more. Now, shipping is normally 12%, so when you join the delivery service, you're going to get 27% off. That's huge. 15% on the pricing and 12% for the free shipping. In Canada, the shipping is 16%, so when you add that to the 15% off, you're going to get 31% discount if you join the delivery service from Canada. And yes, there's free shipping to Canada as well. Now, the delivery service is completely customizable. You could add as many or take away as many items as you want. You don't have to get the same thing every month. You can get more than one order a month. You can skip a couple of months if you want to, and you can cancel at any time. There's no obligation. You are in complete control. So I just wanted to tell you about that why I love Thrive and the cheapest way to buy it. Now, let's get back to looking at, see how the cake is doing.
Okay, it's been about half an hour, and oh, this looks perfect. Came out just perfect. I'm gonna turn the oven off, and oh, that looks so good. Okay, now I'm gonna let it completely cool. Oh yeah, excellent. I'm gonna let it completely cool, and then I'll show you how we're gonna decorate it. Okay, so my cake has cooled, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna kind of fancy-fy the top of it. I actually have some powdered monk fruit sweetener. It just dawned on me that I could have put a little bit of this into a little bag and included that, so you'd be able to do this nice topping for it too. So that's another possibility to have prepared ahead of time. But this is actually monk fruit, but it's powdered, which is cool. I love her stuff. Little clip. Okay, now, first thing I'm gonna do is just give a nice powdering to the top of the cake. All right, just gonna dust it. Wow, I feel like a fancy cooking show. But it just gives a nice light powdering on the top of the cake. Looks so pretty. Okay, now I'll put that back in there. A while back, Bill made me some special pancakes and eggs and stuff for a really special birthday breakfast. So these are silicone, and you can use them to bake pancakes in it or eggs or whatever. I'm going to set this right on my cake like that. I put the rest of my freeze-dried strawberries into my bullet, and I'm going to buzz them into a fine powder. Bullets are so quick and easy. There we go. Now, yeah, this makes it a very fine strawberry powder. It's just nothing but the fruit. I'm just getting it very carefully. I'm not hurting myself on the blades. Kind of getting it carefully out of here. There we go. I'm going to try to see if I can put a heart on here for Valentine's Day. My hands are clean. Makes a nice fine powder of strawberries. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Did you think that came up pretty? You want to try a piece, sweetie?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, heart, I'm going to have to cut you. Let's just go. Oh, feels like a really nice texture. Let's see here. I'm going to do it like this. You can cut it any way you want, of course. I want to have some with the strawberries on top. And there's strawberries in the cake too. Oh, that looks really yummy. Oh my goodness, it's so moist. And all the strawberries came off. There we go. Well, let's try a bite. Can you hand me a fork, sweetheart? Let's try the cake. It's so cool because it's all gluten-free. And it's even like basically sugar-free. Oh, that's so moist looking. It like melts in your mouth. Oh, that's so good. Oh. Wow, that's good.
Very good.
Good.
All from our long-term storage, which is the best. This is really cool. I'll have another.
Well, I'm glad we got to make this cake together. I love the fact that I could have all of it just dry and ready to grab and add water. That amazes me. Very few ingredients aren't Thrive Life.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and I'm not kidding. It is really good. It's really important to get your eggs good and frothy. But this, it did it. It melts in your mouth. All right.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day.
Well, thanks for watching.
Yes, live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
Yes, we love you guys, and we will see you soon.